Hello everyone, and welcome to the first video on the Legends Hub YouTube channel. This video has been long delayed, but I finally have the time to make it. And it's going to be kicking off the series on how to base build. It's the complete tutorial on base building. It's going to be a long series, but I think I have a pretty good plan on how to teach the average player how to actually build, how to trap, and it'll give you a better understanding of how to attack as well. Now, this first video is going to be explaining traps and buildings, because you first need to understand what everything does before you can use it. And I think I'll start with traps, because at first, when you base build, you don't want to start building from scratch. This is what a lot of people get wrong. You don't want to open up a new base slot and just start building. You want to find popular bases and tweak them. You want to watch your replays, see where people are attacking from, and tweak them. This is the best way to start. And over a span of maybe a couple months, you'll kind of just learn how to build certain compartments. You'll find parts of bases that you like, and you can start adding them. Maybe you can start tweaking, making bigger tweaks, not just traps, but you can edit walls and buildings, make room for giant bombs, things like that. Yeah, so you start out simple. I won't get too deep into the details on building from scratch because this video is about tweaking. So let's get started on the traps. So I'll give you information relevant to this meta, and we're in a Spirit Walk meta with primarily Root Riders and Dragons. So this is, yeah, I'm talking specifically about Legends right now. I'm not talking about ESL. Hard mode it's completely different, and it's not worth talking about for the average player because you're not playing hard mode tournaments. So let's get started with small bombs. So go left to right. So small bombs, they're useful to counter Spirit Walks in the sense that they can catch the Spirit Fox. They can damage the Spirit Fox, and if the Spirit Fox goes down, that can really aid the ending phase of an attack. Help you defend the ending phase of an attack. Because the Healing Tome will heal that Spirit Fox back up. Then we have... skip the Spring Trap for now, because Giant Bombs and Small Bombs go together. They essentially have the same function to kill the Fox, or severely damage the RC. Now, you would have to invest almost all of your bombs into one bait. And a bait is when you expect an attacker to enter from a specific area of the base, and you put a bunch of traps there. So you're baiting the attacker. And the bombs and the small bombs are used to bait the Spirit Walk. I'm sure you've probably seen it if you've played Legends by now, but maybe if you use Spirit Walk yourself, you ran into a bait. Where the small bombs and the giant bombs are paired together in order to damage the RC so that you're forced to recall early, or to kill the Fox. Now, they don't have to be used for the Spirit Walk. You can use it on the edge of a base for Valkyries. You can use it for Super Barbarians. You can use it for the end of an attack just to damage Root Riders, damage Queen clones. There are a lot of uses for them, but the most popular use right now is to damage the Spirit Walk. Okay, now let's go to Spring Traps. So Spring Traps, right now they're used primarily on the edge of the base. And the reason they're used on the edge of a base is because Ice Golems. Root Rider armies start with Ice Golems. And when Ice Golems get to the core of a base, and they die, which inevitably they're going to die because there's a ton of damage in the core of a base, they're gonna freeze and immobilize a bunch of important defenses. So if you stack them on the outside like this is just random placement. It's not anything specific. The chance of an Ice Golem getting sprung is pretty good if you can predict the entry. Now, it's even better Even better if you have defenses on the outside, because ice golems target defenses. Now, I don't think you would want these defenses on the outside unless you want to get tripled. But ice golems target defenses. So if you have defenses on the very outside, and we call that the first layer, um, the ice golem is likely to move towards that defense and get sprung on the outside. Yeah, it's better than having like trash, because ice golem's not gonna target this. Um, okay, so let's move on to red air bombs. Okay, actually I'll start with black bombs because you'll see. So seeking air mines are used to kill cocoa loons. Now, cocoa loons is a term that's been coined to describe like suicide loons, basically loons that are used to catch black mines. So your healers don't die to black air mines, because the black mines at a max level will kill one shot a max healer, and the healers are extremely essential to a root rider attack because that's what keeps your whole army alive. The raged healers in the core of a base, that's what's gonna let you either delay your eternal tome or keep your army alive after the eternal tome. Okay, and now. Oh, also against dragon attacks. My bad. So, in the core of a base, these can be used to kill off dragons. Usually they're stacked in two in the core, so they can severely damage a dragon instead of just like taking away 30-40% of its HP. Same logic as giant bombs. Okay, then we have the red air mines. So these, you need six. You need six of them to hit in rapid succession to one-shot healers. But you have seven. But I still like to keep them in a group of seven, not a group of six, because sometimes the heal tome can get like a second of healing, and the six won't kill the healers. It won't one-shot the healers. The healers need to be one-shotted. If they're not one-shotted, then it's as good as like them taking no damage at all, unless there's like, for some reason, there's like a stray multi, but that's super unlikely. So yeah, as long as the healers have 1 HP, it doesn't matter, because they're still gonna heal the same. So you need to kill them all at once, which is why you see so often on tournament bases or high legend bases, these are grouped up. That's to kill healers in one shot. Now let's go to. Oh, there's a trap that's not here. There's a Tesla, but I'll get to that later. So then we have. Oh no, we don't. Then we have the skeleton trap. The skeleton trap is very versatile. It's also very important. I like to use it with Teslas, in combination with Teslas, or with Rico cannons or multi-archer towers, because Rico cannons and multi-archer towers tend to be on the edge of a base, especially Rico cannons. Skeleton traps are especially good with Rico cannons because Rico cannons are usually on the first layer, and super barbarians, Valkyries, and the queen. These tend to circle on the edge for pathing, and the Rico cannon with the skeleton trap will severely delay damage on the Rico cannon itself. So like a queen, for example, a queen doesn't do splash damage, so the ground skeleton trap specifically, it can soak up 4 or 5 shots, before the Rico cannon itself gets damaged. Now the Rico cannon has a lot of health, but the queen does a lot of damage, so just keeping this thing alive as long as possible is good. And super barbarians as well. If you sprinkle them on the outside, the Rico cannon will, it'll ricochet and hit multiple at once. And the skeleton trap just helps keep the Rico cannon alive, and that's important because this is a very strong defense. And same logic with multi-archer tower. And I like to save these. This is very important. I like to save skeleton traps for the end of an attack. There's no point in putting a skeleton trap when your opponent has the entire army and like 3,000 DPS just swarming into your base. Like, 4 skeletons is not going to do anything when there's 300 Valkyries in the middle of your base. So, if it's not going to do anything, then don't put it there. Just leave it for the end of an attack. I like to put it, yeah, like combined with Teslas at the very end of an attack. And as you can tell with every trap that I've described so far, it's really important to predict where your opponent is going to come from, and that's what we call an entry. In this meta, especially in this meta where the offense is stupidly strong, it's everything. It's a world of difference predicting where your opponent is going to come from, and it's kind of annoying, and can only be determined through testing, which is something I'll get to later. But, yeah, you don't have too good of a chance of defending if you don't predict where your opponent's going to come from. Somewhat, like 50% of the time, maybe, unless your attacker is really really bad. Okay, and then we have the NATO. The NATO is maybe the most important trap. NATO is used. Its first common use case in this meta is against the RC Spirit Walk, in combination with the giant bombs and the small bombs, and this will just help keep the RC in place, so it can't move. Basically, waste seconds off an invisibility spell. Now I see a very common mistake, even among very high level builders. I see a very common mistake with the tornado trap, and that is, let's see. I'll just create a hypothetical scenario. No, this is a very, nobody's actually gonna make this compartment. But here's the mistake I see with the tornado trap. You have to look. You see, there's a circumference. There's an area of where the tornado trap will trigger. You have to imagine where the RC will go. Now, the RC can still hit a building, even if it's in a tornado trap, if the RC is in range of the defense. So if I send an RC here from the 6 o'clock side into the monolith, and let's say I put a bunch of bombs, small bombs, giant bombs. If I put the tornado trap here, it's completely useless, because the RC can still hit the multi-archer tower if the RC is being held right next to it. Like, you're just wasting the tornado trap if you're doing that. You have to position the tornado trap where the RC won't be able to hit any building. And that is why you wouldn't place a tornado trap in a compartment like this, because the RC can access a building from anywhere inside this compartment. Now, if you had something like this, let's see, like this, okay? And we had something like this. Oh, no. Okay, let's say we had something like this. Then, what the RC could do is come from here, right? Now, there are storages here, so the RC is not going to go that way. And it's going to clear this, say it goes here, and then it goes here. And then actually, it might depend. Yeah, so it'll go from here, 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 and then it'll be like somewhere around here. And then it'll go for the multi-archer tower, right? And then there's a hero here, so it won't go this way. It'll go for the poison tower. What you could do is place it like this. So the RC, if spun here, won't be able to attack this poison tower. And that's what I mean by placing the NATO in a place where she won't be able to consistently hit the next defense. Now she's gonna get spun around. She's gonna go like this, and in these positions she might get 1 or 2 shots off. But that's better than her constantly hitting it and taking it down. So yeah, that's how the NATO works against the Spirit Walk. Now, you can also use the NATO against the bulk of the army, which is it might be better in most situations. People underestimate that. People love using the NATO against the RC, but holding the bulk of an army in a specific spot, if you predict the entry, can be very very powerful. For example, if you're if you predict an army and you're able to catch them in a NATO in the core of the base, where the town hall is hitting. Now the town hall range is very big. People underestimate the range. So you just watch this area and just place the NATO somewhere within this, on this periphery. Then the town hall can do a lot of damage. Now it's not just the town hall if you're in the core of the base. You're gonna have a lot of other defenses. See, what you can do is calculate the damage spread and have a bunch of defenses. That are all hitting that specific NATO. You see, and that's how you can use it against the bulk of an army, in the core of a base. Or you can also use it upon entry, just to slow everything down, and make the loons go ahead, kill them with black mines, force an early tome, which you would probably need an early rage tower to force an early tome, but that's another case we'll talk about. Okay, so enough with the NATO. Now we have the Giga Bomb. The Giga Bomb is not too useful. Doesn't do enough damage, but the notable thing to mention is its reverse psychology effect in high legends. So, as I talked about with the giant bombs and the small bombs, people use the giant bombs and small bombs to bait the RC Spirit Walk, and they tend to place the Giga Bomb on the opposite side of their bait, just because the Giga Bomb has a knockback effect, so it can be a little annoying for the Spirit Walk. Like, it might turn the RC a different way, or it's just another variable that the attacker has to think about, so it's kind of inconvenient. So what you can do with the Giga Bomb if you're in high legends, and by high legends I mean around roughly top 1500 reset. And a reset is at the end of the day, when all your attacks, when everyone's attacks and everyone's defenses are done. Where are you in the ranking? If you're in the top 1500 globally, you can place the Giga Bomb with your bait. Because a lot of high legends attackers will go into the Giga Bomb thinking that the defender didn't put anything there, because the defender might think that they didn't place anything around the Giga Bomb. The defender might not place anything around the Giga Bomb because the attacker won't go into the Giga Bomb. Because if you go into giant bombs and a Giga Bomb, then it's kind of an issue, or it can become an issue, because the Giga Bomb is essentially a more powerful giant bomb. So we have this here. So if you're in scout view, it's perfectly innocent. And then you would have the same compartment or something similar on the other side of the base. And that would be non-baited, at least traditionally. And that would be baited traditionally. So now we go into scout view, and in lower legend reset, most Spirit Walks would go here into the non-Giga Bomb side, and in higher legend resets, most Spirit Walks would go into the Giga Bomb. So in higher reset, 1500 or above, as I said, I place the bombs with the Giga Bomb, and at lower reset, I would swap these bombs over to the non-Giga Bomb side. Now, it's also important to mention, for the Spirit Walk specifically, like the Monolith or the Town Hall, for example, like these very important defenses, um, they kind of bypass like the Giga Bomb rule and stuff like that. It gets a little more confusing, but the Monolith especially tends to be not in the core. So you can use the Monolith to attract a Spirit Walk quite easily. The Monolith is probably one of the strongest indicators of where your opponent is going to attack. Okay, so that's all the traps covered. It's been 20 minutes now, so I'll cover defenses. I'll start covering defenses in the next video. I'll probably post it a couple days to a week from now. I'm not sure. I don't have a consistent posting schedule yet, but that's all the traps covered so far. And with the knowledge I've given you, you can start tweaking meta bases you see. You can start identifying entries, common entries. Just watch your Legends replays. And actually, I didn't teach you how to use them exactly, specifically. So next video, I'll tweak a base and show you like the exact tiles and mechanics that I like to employ. So that's it for the first video. And I'll see you in the next video that's also going to release on the same day. So I'll see you in like 2 minutes because you're going to click on the next video after you finish watching this video.